Hi, I'm Emily, executive producer at Aesir Interactive. I hope you enjoyed the new footage of our open-world game, Windstorm, The Legend of Khiimori. We're excited to give you a glimpse into a lot of new features in this trailer. However, we want to use Kickstarter to make the project bigger and better than originally planned, building up on all the attention our game got this past year. The best news first. The game's release is already secured for PC and consoles, and we will go into early access in summer 2025. And as your feedback is dear to us, we will do an alpha playtest on PC accessible for all of our backers in spring 2025. If you don't know our studio yet, we at Aesir Interactive have been successfully developing games for over 10 years. The team behind Windstorm, The Legend of Khiimori, consists of passionate newcomers and experienced veterans, some with AAA expertise. Last year, our game received a lot more attention than we initially thought. Overnight, game content was shared by press and content creators with millions of views. This had a noticeable impact on us. The community has grown and wishlist numbers have exploded. We believe that Kickstarter is the perfect platform for this, allowing us to create an open dialogue with our fans and to implement as much amazing extra content into the game as possible. Your support means we can invest in these enhancements without compromising our existing development plans. Our creative director, Gerard, will tell you more about that in detail.
Hi, I'm the creative director here at Aesir Interactive, working on Windstorm, The Legend of Khiimori. When we speak about this game, I think the three most important pillars to discuss, like big ideas that we need to keep conveying into what we're doing is Mongolia, 13th century, and the horses. Well, first, the Mongolia of the 13th century is one of the most amazing places to visit. Even when you look at documentaries or that kind of thing, you just cannot remove your eyes from what was happening there. Their food, the coloring, the way they were dresses, the way they were build ingredients and so on, it's really magic. And that world in itself is amazing for game developers, right? Because we can really try to provide you with that sentiment and those experiences.
Aesir Interactive has years of experience making horse games and has learned a lot from these past projects and their reception. We have paid close attention to what this audience wants and what they find lacking in similar games, including our own earlier titles. I'm an equestrian and a consultant who specializes in the portrayal of horses in video games. I care very deeply about getting horses right. I've been watching and adoring horses all of my life, and although these animals are frequently featured in games from indie to AAA, I believe that there are still way too few projects that actually do them justice in terms of their behavior, their movement, their characteristics, but also the depth of gameplay related to them.
But if we talk about Mongolia in the 13th centuries, we could not talk about horses. People at that time were barely nothing without their horse. Anything you would do, even hunting like you'd be able to do in the game, or traversing, going in some places, having a courier mission, bringing some urgent medicamentation to the other part of the village, or to that other village, or to the hermit that is, in the mountains, you always needed a horse. And actually the work and the whole culture that they built with horse is actually what greatly helped the culture to, become bigger and bigger and became, one renowned one in the world.
It helps that we have a few equestrians and horse owners on the team. By having access to real horses and by using extensive reference footage, we've really been able to take our horse animation to a whole new level compared to previous projects.
I myself am a passionate rider. I work with my horse at least 4 times per week. It's a great opportunity to apply that knowledge and experience to the development of our game. It's also really cool to be able to invite my colleagues to the barn, so that they can meet the horses, analyze the movement and behavior, and really understand the animal.
So for us game developers, amazing baggage to dive in terms of history, culture, in terms of mythology as well. I mean, Legend of Khiimori has a little bit of something, not magic, but mystical. But then horses as a central key in the game is ultimate, because for us it's even like much more than a feature. It's a tool for the player to engage, and not just mechanically, but also emotionally. So that's really, like, for us, a perfect combination of ingredients to craft a really nice game. So to talk more about the world, right, and all the different systems that are going to be here to actually create this immersive experience. Hopefully you're not looking at systems, but like a general feel for the game. We have to build systems. We have to pay attention to wind, as an example. Wind is a very interesting system for us to build on because part of the world, there's going to be wild creatures. There's going to be bear, there's going to be like feline, there's going to be lots of different things. They can take your position out of your scent. So you can give away your position because of the wind and how you position yourself. Same thing in the other way around. If you look at a herd of horses and you want to come and get one so you can bring it to your stable and then, or you need a new stallion or something, you actually need to show yourself, obviously, so you don't scare them or that kind of thing, right? So there's a whole relation with wind in every little system. You're using your bow, you want to shoot at something. Of course, if there's a strong wind, it's going to be more difficult to aim and shoot your target. Also, sometimes you might be using those scents. Even with your bow, like you could have like a pouch of powder and you throw that and it kind of open a little zone that has this scent. And then that could be a way for you to lure the bear into a position and you can move to another one. Or so, connecting the wind, connecting the climatic changes to each other system is important for us because that's how we believe we're going to make this nice tissue of a general experience rather than having separate systems.
One other aspect of horse realism that we're really excited about is sound design. Last year, we had the opportunity to go out to a barn with our composer and sound designer. There, we were able to take a lot of important recordings, such as moving on different surfaces, the gaits, walk, trot, canter, gallop, and a variety of nickering, snorting, and sighing, just all the noises that horses make when they're happy or curious or hungry, and much more. Thanks to these recordings, we can now create an immersive and realistic soundscape and make sure that we're not just defaulting to loud neighing all the time as you often see in movies.
Working on the art of Windstorm, the legend of Khiimori, is really rewarding. We try to immerse ourselves fully into the atmosphere of 13th century Mongolia and convey that feeling of a great adventure to our players.
Personally, I especially love how our face rig and facial animations for the horses are adding so much personality that just makes the animals feel alive. And it's really cool to see how these minute details, like how the horses move their ears and their lips, are already getting noticed by our community.
So the relation with the community is very critical for us. It's not just a conversation where we're asking for ideas or they're giving us ideas, or the simple fact that there are people engaged in what we're doing is amazing for the team, right? We know that there's people that are in the expectation, they're hoping. So already it makes us feel very good. Sometimes when you make a game, people don't even know what you're making, right? So you feel a little bit lonely. Now we already know those people are excited. They ask a question, would I be able to do this? Would I be able to do this?
It is super helpful to read through the community comments and feedback. Apart from positive stuff saying how beautiful everything looks and such, we get a ton of really useful feedback and questions. For example, how do we design our characters? How big the game world is going to be? How do we animate our horses and such? Those questions really help us stir the development into the right direction. We can really tell that the community is extremely passionate about the project, ready to dive into it and fully explore our vision of the 13th century Mongolia. So, thanks to all that attention and a new approach, we've been able to add a brand new biome to the game. Next to the traditional grasslands, steppes and deserts, you will now be able to discover snow-covered mountains.
The role of a courier writer is a very interesting one. The first thing we discussed and decided with the team is that we didn't want it to be that role where you just take something, you have to go somewhere in the world, you put it, you activate the quest giver, and then that's it. So we wanted to build expectations. Okay, what is it that I have to take? I have to take this. Is there a why? Of course there's a why. There's a little boy in the other village that is super sick. And then we want to build an interesting narrative, something that is meaningful. But that's not it. How do I get there? I have to plan my journey. So I've got to open my map and I've got to see how much knowledge I have. The more I explore the world, already my map is populated with a lot of information. There's a wolf pack. I got to be careful with wolf pack. Over there, by night, it seems that there's a bear, but I can find it during the day. If I am crossing that region during the day, I might be okay. So where is my path? How do I get there? So you actually have that moment where you're looking at, the goal and what the world is waiting from you, and you need to project how you are going to build this interesting journey of yours. I don't want to spoil you, but more than often, you have to adapt. Even though with the best planning, something's gonna come up, but the more you're prepared, still the better will be the journey.
Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope we were able to give you a deeper insight into our plans and are very curious to hear what you have to say about Windstorm, the legend of Khiimori. So be quick and grab our limited rewards. And don't forget, this spring we will do an alpha playtest on PC for all of our backers, no matter what platform you chose for your copy of the game. Ride with us and become part of this story.